Ooh, oofta. It's every now and again that comes out, that Norwegian word. All right, better. Hi, readers. It's Lori. Welcome back to my channel, Books, Ink, and Paper, and welcome to another cold day here where I live and probably where you live too. It's interesting where I am in the South. We do have a winter, but it is an erratic winter, I guess. It's what you would say. We had the other day, our highs were 76 and our lows were 61, 62. Then we got a little bit lower in the or upper 50s in the night, and we got slightly less 70s in the morning. And now last night we froze, and today I think the high is going to be, I don't even know, 50 something. I don't know. So you can't really ignore that this is winter, but some days you feel like it's not. But this prompted me because I'm also reading a book set in the winter. I decided I would do a pile of possibilities for me to read and perhaps for you to read as well during this cold season. Some of these I tried to start before. One of them I may have already read and I just don't remember if I did. And one of them, like I said, I'm reading now. So the first one is A Killing Cold by Kate Alice Marshall. And this is a Book of the Month Club subscription choice that I made in January of 2025. And I had not gotten to it yet. I meant to get to it last year. It was on one of my lists, and I just didn't have the ability and the space to read it and pick it up. However, I am listening to it now as well as reading it, and kind of catching up where I am in this physical copy. But I found an audio book of it on Everand, and I am listening in the mornings and then sometimes reading it physically at night. I need to add it to my story graph because I just started it, but it's been a couple of days. I think I'm on page 37 or something like that, so not far in. But I have wanted to read this for a while, and I have wanted to read another book by Alice Marshall as well, so I may do that this year. Backlist for me, of course, which is important. This one is about a woman her nickname is Theo. I think it's Theodora, and she has had a rough life. You can tell from the beginning, but also from the synopsis. Her life has been challenging, and she was in and out of foster care as a young person. And she meets a man who she falls in love with. Possibly he falls in love with her too, possibly. These are kind of gray characters at the moment, so I'm not sure where their motivations are quite yet. But what is interesting is she goes to they own his family, this guy, very wealthy, owns a mountain. I discovered yesterday when I was listening, owns a mountain. Like, how is that possible even? But nevertheless, they own a mountain, but not all of it, only the good parts, he says. They're probably a little bit, because they're pretty affluent, they're a little bit snarky at times and challenging to get along with each other, I think. And she discovers, at least in the synopsis, it says, she hasn't done it yet, that there's a photo of her in this cabin. So she's obviously been there before, and there's somebody who's sending her messages to stay away from this guy that she's in a relationship with. So I think I'm going to like it. I just haven't gotten very far into it. So that one is a great one because it's very atmospheric. It's very cold there. This one I think I read before, but I wouldn't mind reading it again because this is also set. This is in the Arctic, and it is Dan Brown's Deception Point. And this is a NASA satellite that discovers a very rare object that's buried deep under the core of the Earth. And so the space agency says, let's get this out because this will help the new election coming up. So this is sort of a NASA space shuttle situation, of course, is connected to the U.S. government, but this is connected in a different way as well. So they call upon the skills of analyst Rachel Sexton, and they try to discover what happened and is this really a thing, and what will be the result of them finding out more about this. I I would like to reread it if I get the chance. I don't know that I'll do it now. This next one is Black Ice by Karen Gerhardsen. This was blurbed by Ragnar Jonassen as a hit, and they, I think, are writers in the same genre and the same place and on the earth. But I have had this for a while. It came out in 2022. I didn't get it then, but I've had it, I think, for at least 2 years. And I forgot about how much I wanted to read this until I looked at the synopsis because I knew it was set in the winter. So this is January in Gotland. The days are short, the air is cold, and the roads are covered in snow. On a deserted, icy back road, these will bring together a group of strangers with a force devastating enough to change their lives forever when, in the midst of a brief period, a deadly accident and two separate crimes leave victims in their wake. So I would love to read this. I would love it if we had snow on the ground, but not ice. And I think this might put me in the mood, even if it jumps up to, 78 degrees here. I've had this one for a bit as well. And this is What Happened to the McCraes by Tracy Lang. I started it last year and realized I didn't have the bandwidth to do it because I had some other things that were happening. This came out in 2024. I have enjoyed the other two books I've read by Tracy Lang, so my anticipation is that I would like this one too. You can tell by the cover that this one is set in the winter. And it is always a family saga, family drama, and there's somebody that's, with her books, they're kind of the same, setup, but somebody is doing something that they shouldn't have done. In this case, Kyle McCrae finds out that his father's had a stroke, and so he returns to New York, and he's left his family. So they're not welcoming him home in the most enthusiastic way. And he actually also has a wife and child that were left there. And so he is reacclimating. And I guess we're going to find out what made him take off, and does his father survive, and does this bring them closer together? And these are not sort of the ones that end with everything tied up in a nice happy bow either. These are really deep discoveries of human nature and of individuals, especially individuals who are challenged by relationships or by memories or something that happened in their lives. So I really like the way she writes, and I really like that they're not predictably like everybody's gonna, hug each other and say it's all good. But usually there are some characters that develop and improve, and some maybe do not, but we'll see. This one I have read, but I wouldn't mind rereading it, but I'm bringing it to you for you to consider. This is The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz, and I enjoyed it very much. I have another one by her that I have not gotten to yet, but I would someday soon reread this, especially if I get really motivated by the snow or the cold, or if I get to go somewhere where it's snowing. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Nevertheless, this cover is just so cozy, snowy. This is indeed about a writing retreat. A woman applies to be a part of the writing retreat. She's an author, she's new, and she's not selected. But then later she gets a letter that says that somebody else backed out, someone she knows, and so she's been selected now to go on this reading retreat, and she takes off, and there's no leaving this place. There's a kind of an isolated space here as well. And the woman who's designed the retreat and is hosting the retreat is a very famous author, and the goal is that they will write a manuscript, and the best manuscript wins a ton of money and the ability to publish a book. Of course, they're all a little bit eager to get that done, but some other things get in the way, and you learn about each of them, and you wonder what's happening, what. It's very suspenseful. I enjoyed it a lot. This one came out in February of 2023, so I've had it a bit, but I highly recommend it if you're looking for something that's set in the snow. And I remember there's snowmobiles and there's, storms, and it's pretty atmospheric as well. So the weather is a character in some of these books. And the last one Definitely looks cold on the cover. I started this a while ago and did not continue with it at that time. Knew it was just a soft DNF. This is The Diamond Eye by Kate Quinn, obviously. You can tell by this cover this was set in the cold, right? And I did enjoy it. What I will say is in that moment, I wasn't in the space, in the headspace or the enjoyment space for this particular plot, I think. And so I put it down for a minute. I used to have it in paperback, and then my little library at my other place where I lived had a book sale. And so I got it at the book sale, and then I put the other copy back in the little free library here locally. But I would like to finish this one. I enjoyed it. The writing was great. I love Kate Quinn's book that I read, which I read, The Briar Club, and loved that one. I think I gave that one 5 stars. A lot of people like this very, very much. This is about Mila. Let me tell you her last name. I'll forget it. Pavlichenka. And she organizes her whole life around her work at a library and her son. And as I remember from the time I began it last, it was a relationship that she had with her. I don't know if they were married or if they were just in a relationship, but the father of her son. And that was a tricky relationship. And so she was taking care of her son primarily on her own. She also then becomes a sniper, and she is enlisted to kill Nazis, and she becomes very good at it, hence the reason she's called the Diamond Eye. But she also, some way along the line, meets Eleanor Roosevelt and has a conversation with her. This is based on a real life character who really did have a conversation with Eleanor Roosevelt, from what I have remembered I read. So I'm sure that this would be great. It has some, some ties to actual history, but I'm sure that the author has made a little bit of, some room for additional drama or additional things. But I would like to finish this again, and it looks like the best winter cover. I don't know, these are all really great, but I would like to finish all of the Kate Quinns on my shelf at some point. I have the Rose Code, and I have the Huntress. And I might have the Alice Network on Kindle or somewhere too. But I at some point, and I have the Phoenix Crown, which she co-wrote with another woman whose name I can't remember. But at some point, I would like to read Kate Quinn to zero. It's just not going to be anytime soon. So those are my possibilities for a cool winter read for myself. And in the meantime, if you'd like to take a look at these too and have a nice, cool winter read, you might want to check some of these out. And let me know, of course, in the comments below if you've read some of them and which one you would recommend that I start first. Again, I'm going to finish The Killing Cold and finishing it on audio, which it's not long on audio. I've sped it up a little bit, but I think I have, something like 5 hours to go, and I haven't read very much of it. So it's not like a chunker like some of these have been. But I am so excited about winter. It's my favorite. Fall, winter. I like spring too, but fall and winter are kind of tied for my favorite season. So I hope you enjoy winter too. Leave a comment below. Tell me whatever you want me to know. Tell me which book you think I should choose first. Let me know what your favorite books that are set in the winter are, because I'm open to other ones as well. That would be fun. And I can always add them to my TBR for next winter. It's funny because last winter we had snow here in the South. It was an unprecedented snowy day. And this year, not so far. But I'll just take the cold because I prefer that to any other kind of weather. So if you don't want to leave a comment, give me a snowflake, or there might be a snowball, I don't know, or whatever else you think would be aligned with these titles and what you know about them as a result of reading them yourself or of me telling you about them. And as always, happy reading. Bye.